basically what's happening is it's almost like you're trading one pleasure for another.
Exactly.
So when you're thinking about whether or not you need antidepressants, think about that. Like, am I trading one pleasure for another?
Yeah.
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for tuning into Our Second Act with Paige and Silka. Today I'm so happy to welcome Bonnie Gayle back to our program. Bonnie, thanks for joining me again.
Oh my God, thanks for having me, Silka. I always love talking about these wonderful topics with you.
Today is a very interesting topic, an important topic, going with our sexual health series. One of the things that we haven't talked about is how various medications will affect our libido and, our sex life in general. And of course, on the top of the list of medications that people don't often think about is antidepressants. Bonnie, talk to me about that, because this is so important to get this message out.
Absolutely. So SSRIs are something that people take because they either have depression or anxiety issues. And these are really common drugs. So, people are getting them prescribed. There's a very high percentage of people in the United States that are taking antidepressants, and a lot of people really kind of need them to kind of keep themselves in check because they can go into really dark places. So I'm not telling you that you're going to have to go off medication in order to get your libido back if you have this problem, but I want you to understand that this is a very common problem amongst people who are taking antidepressants. And the reason for that is the antidepressants increase your serotonin levels, which you want to increase so that you can feel good. The serotonin kind of makes you feel good, so that's your feel-good hormone, right? So if your serotonin is increased too much, one of the bad things that could happen is it could either inhibit your libido, or it can make it really harder to have an orgasm, or impossible to have an orgasm. So it can be really, really frustrated. And this is the thing, it's like nobody tells you this. So like you're basically going to a psychiatrist most likely, or a psychologist, because you have like a mental thing that you're dealing with and you're stressed and you're...
Yeah, or if I may just add, Bonnie, or even just your general practitioner or your OBGYN, they will hand those out left and right with, I agree with you. There's people that need antidepressants. I also do not want to tell somebody not to use them, but they are overused. And so I do want to throw out, just before you go on or are on, that there is some caution as to whether or not you really need them.
Exactly.
I'll let you continue.
And here's the thing, it's like this side effect doesn't necessarily show up right away, because with these kinds of drugs, basically you have to have a cumulative buildup in your system. So these are the types of drugs that you're supposed to stay on. They're not types of things that you should say, oh, well, go on them for 2 days and go off for 3 or go off for 4. It doesn't really kind of work that way. So for women, the biggest challenge is loss of libido. They literally just have no interest in sex. And I don't know about you, but look, we have people in their 20s on antidepressants and 30s. Can you imagine, if you have no interest in sex in your 20s and 30s, how are you going to have a great sex life for the rest of your life?
Bonnie, that was me. I was put on antidepressants by my general practitioner. I was 35. It killed my sex life. It killed my interest. That's why I'm kind of talking passionately about this. And there was no reason for me to be on antidepressants. I was dealing with, I was upset about things that needed to be fixed. They weren't my serotonin levels change. I needed to deal with my life. And maybe that's why.
Here's the challenge. If your sex life isn't good, that's going to put all kinds of other anxiety and stress in your life.
Exactly.
If you're married or in a relationship, come on,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And, and your physician, doesn't talk to you about that. They don't ask the questions about your, how your sex life has changed, or even warn you about this. And then us as patients, we're embarrassed to ask about it for the most part. So I didn't mean to throw you off track here.
Or we don't even know to.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, when's the last time that you went to a doctor and he prescribed you something and you said, "Oh, and by the way, what are the side effects that are from those?" Do you know that half the time the doctors don't even know?
Right. Right. I think I shared with you once when I was at and then we'll talk and I want to get back to your point, but again, with the OBGYN, I wanted to have her prescribe me vitamin B shots, which I give myself, and I have fantastic. Well, Dr. Lori's my physician, but I went to to my OBGYN just for the regular checkup and wanted that prescribed, and she wrote up that I had some sort of psychological thing. I mean, she wanted to give me antidepressants versus B12.
Oh my
It was
God.
absolutely crazy, and that's again why I'm so adamant about please, please, please make sure you actually need these things because they can mess with you. Go ahead, Bonnie. Continue.
Absolutely,
I'm sorry.
absolutely. Okay, so one of the things is that it diminishes your libido or you just have no sexual desire. But then here's the other part of it. Like what you said, oh my God, the ability to orgasm, good luck with that.
Right.
Well, basically what's happening is it's almost like you're trading one pleasure for another.
Exactly.
If you think about it, you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is that one pleasure really pleasurable? So that's the crazy part about it. So when you're thinking about whether or not you need antidepressants, think about that. Like, am I trading one pleasure for another?
Yeah, because it just numbs you. It literally numbs your body. That's what I experienced.
Wow. Okay, and now let's talk about men that take antidepressants too, because so for men, if you are taking antidepressants, that can affect both your libido and your ability to orgasm. But here's the crazy part. It's not going to affect your performance. So you're not going to have any problems getting hard or staying hard. You're just going to have problems having the desire to have sex and actually orgasming.
Well, in either case, though, you are diminishing the quality of your sex life if
Absolutely.
desires. Yeah, yeah.
So I have a couple of tips that I want to offer up. Some of them you may want to think about. Others, you may just want to try. My first one is to take a lower dosage of your antidepressant. So sometimes, like, they're giving really high dosages. It's like lowering that dosage just a little bit so that you still have the drug in your system, but not as much of it can be helpful.
And of course, talk to your physician about this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
anything when it comes to medication, make sure that you talk to your physician first. Okay. The other thing is to take the pill after you have sex as opposed to in the morning.
okay.
So take it at night instead of in the morning, because by the time, if you're somebody who has sex at night, then you've had it in your system for longer, so less of it is actually in your system because you're on a 24-hour cycle, right?
Good point.
I have another tip that's a really good one, and it's the easiest one of all. And it doesn't involve doing anything with your meds, okay? And that is to try a little sex butter. The reason for that is sex butter is an organic lubricant that has a little minty mixture in it, and it actually regenerates nerves. So it basically wakes you up down there. So if you're a female and you take a little bit of sex butter and you apply a little and rub it all around everywhere inside and out, in about literally seconds, you're going to start to feel yourself. And that will help bring on sexual desire. And the same thing for a man. Rub a little bit on your penis and let's have some fun.
Well, Bonnie, we're obviously going to link to Sex Butter. Bonnie is the creator of Sex Butter, a fabulous product, organic lubricant that helps with, vaginal atrophy and so many other things. So, Bonnie, thank you for that. We are already coming to the end of this segment. I want to say real fast that again, we acknowledge that there are lots of people that need antidepressants, need to be on them, and I hope we've given you at least something to think about today and some questions to ask. Bonnie, what would you leave our viewers with?
So remember, you have to be your body's best advocate. You have to be your body's best sexual advocate. So just remember, if you're taking medication, find out if you really need it. Find out if your dosage is too high. And if, and you may not need it or you may need it, but just check in with yourself and really kind of keep checking in and seeing how you feel and how these little shifts affect your body.
And talk to your physician, ask the questions. I also read one more tip was that you can actually take a short holiday from your antidepressants, like take a few days off without changing the overall dosage. Again, this is something I read while doing research. This is something you need to find out for yourself, but these might all be some tricks, some little tips to help get your libido back if you are going to continue on antidepressants. Bonnie, thank you so much. We will see you on our next segment of Our Second Act with Paige and Silka. Thanks so much for watching. For more information on this important topic, please visit our website, secondact.tv. And if you haven't already done so, please just take a second and subscribe to our channel. Button's right over here. Thank you.